Hi, everybody. This is Louise Lovewell of the Lovewell team, and I have Katie Lovewell with us. Unfortunately, our dear, wonderful partner Maggie is a little bit under the weather. There's definitely some stuff going around. So, without too much ado, Katie is going to tell us all about the wonderful markets, which are up, down, up, down. It's pretty crazy, but take it away, Katie.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and actually I'm going to switch. We were starting in Fremont, but um, yeah, so we're going to start in the south part of Alameda County. And as Louise said, there is just a lot of typically what's normal for this time of year is for prices to kind of start increasing mid-January and be kind of solidly up until the end of April. Well, really the end of May, and then with summer break we see some fluctuations, but this year has definitely been much more unpredictable, and there's just been a lot of big changes in median sales price from one month to the next already, even though we're only 3 months in. So we'll go through each city and we'll look at that and it's amazing again, and maybe whatever. There's not a lot of consistency. I mean, there are some cities that are doing the same thing as others, but it's just they're not all doing the same thing. They're definitely all over the place. So again, starting in Fremont, we definitely see an increase in price. We definitely see actives increasing from 71 to 86, pendings not as much from 52 to 59. So we, definitely see the price going up, but also compared to where the price was last year, not as high as what the median sales price once was. So that's Fremont. Hayward, on the other hand, you could compare the peaks last year to where the peak was in February, but unlike Fremont, which is still going up, we already see a downshift in Hayward. But again, compared to the highest median price last year, it looked like it was 937. And right now, the median sales price in March, which was down from February of 990, is 960. And actives went from 58 to 69, and pending went from 34 to 44. So both went up by 11, so about the same. Okay, Castro Valley. Even, we saw the increase in Fremont and we saw the big up in Hayward, but Castro Valley hasn't turned around yet. But maybe that'll be next month. We'll see a big drop. I mean, who knows if it follows the model of Hayward. So, huge jump in median sales price from February. It was 1150 to March 1350. So a $200,000 increase in median sales price. So definitely expect that might shift now. And that was higher than any time it was last year. Actives went from 23 to 28, and pendings went from 16 to 24. All right, so moving to San Leandro. Interesting, they had the little peak in January, unlike a lot of cities that kind of had Hayward had the peak in February, started coming back down. It peaked in January, came down, but now it's coming back. And we do see that the median sales price went from 762 to 839, so a decent jump. But it's down again from the peak of 900 in January. The actives went from 29 to 37, and the pendings just budged up a little bit from 23 to 24. So supply is definitely increasing more than demand. And Alameda, we've had some good recent fluctuations, but yeah, definitely similar to Hayward, we're a big peak in February, but not quite as a dramatic decrease from February to March. But also the peak was very similar to what it was in November. But yeah, a big change in median sales price. I mean, it was 1,540,000 in February down to 1,200,000. So a $300,000 kind of actually from January, an increase and then a $300,000 decrease. So yeah, definitely think maybe it'll shift back up, but we'll see. Actives went from 19 to 29. Pendings went from 8 to 16. And then we have Oakland. I need to make these a little bigger, easier to read. And again, Oakland, big increase in median sales price. Seems like it's still going up like Castro Valley, but maybe that'll shift around back down. Like some of the other cities that have already done that. Active went from 309 to 329. Pendings had a big increase from 130 to 181. And I guess since we talked about the other cities' median sales price, it went from 915 end of February to 1,165,000 end of March. Okay, moving on to Berkeley. And so again, we see a pretty solid increase in median sales price, but not at the extreme, not as straight up as some of the other cities, and not quite hitting, with a peak last year. It looked like it was 1,821,000 in July. And interesting, that graph doesn't quite match. July looks lower here, but that I looked at sales price. Sorry, wrong thing. Okay, May, 1,812,000 in May, and that was last May. But right now, the median sales price is 1,685,000, or sorry, at the end of March, that's what it was. So not quite as high as it was last May, but definitely we see an increase, and we'll see if it keeps going up to get to something similar to what it was last year. Actives actually went down from 55 to 51 homes, and pendings went up from 32 to 46. So in Berkeley, demand definitely seems to be higher, or increasing, whereas the supply is actually going down. Okay, Lafayette. Again, another very interesting city. We see a big jump, and the jump is actually, compared to like peak prices last year, is well well above the highest price last year. It looks like the highest median sales price last year was 2,275, and right now the median sales price is 2,575, so 300,000 over any peaks from last year. And also just showing you the extreme from one month to the next. In the end of February, it was 2,060,000, and now it's 2,575,000. So a $500,000 increase in median sales price. So I'm guessing that's going to come down next month, but I guess we'll see. It's hard to say. It's a little rough for buyers in Lafayette right now. Sellers probably feeling really happy. Actives went from 24 to 21, so the inventory actually shrank, and pendings went up from 11 to 13. Okay, and then we move back down, back into that we were in Contra Costa. Now we're back in Alameda County. And again, different extremes. So we have the extreme of Lafayette going up by 500,000 from one month to the next. We have Pleasanton went down 400,000, I believe, from the end of February to the end of March. So the median sales price in February was 1,900,000. The median sales price in March, at the end of March, was 1,470,000. So over $400,000 decrease. So definitely very interesting extremes. Active homes went from 40 to 54, and pendings went from 20 to 28. So both increasing. And then moving on to our last city that we'll present is Livermore, which similar to Pleasanton, but not as extreme. We definitely saw like a peak in February coming back down, but not as big of a decrease. The median sales price went from 1,323,000 to 1,212,000. Actives went from 71 to 84. Pendings went from 40 to 48. So both increasing. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. So definitely seems like a bit of an unpredictable market. I mean, I guess you can predict, I mean, if we're at peaks or you're higher than any price last year, I would guess most of those cities that are having those are going to come back down, but who knows? Who knows? It's hard to say. And, some of them that have had huge price decreases, I would expect are going to flip back around. But I think overall, what we're hearing is just the very weird and uncertain market with everything, I think, going on in the world and whatnot. So do you have anything else you would like to add?
No, I mean, I totally agree with that. In fact, that's exactly what, if anybody reads the Carl Medford article in the papers, he says, yes, it's definitely a weird market. A lot has to do, I think, with the war, just kind of with the uncertainty in this country. There's just so much of that. When I talk to the agents whose homes actually are going pending, I would say most of them are just getting between 1 to 3 offers. I mean, the only exception to that was that crazy house on Crocus in San Leandro that got 21 offers, which I'm definitely next month I will let our viewers know how much that house went for, because that house was a total dump. I mean, it was beyond a dump. I mean, there was nothing there. There was no electrical, no plumbing, no kitchen, no bathroom. Everything was missing, and people had even died in the house. I mean, it was crazy. And that they got 21 offers. I think it was listed for, I think 695 or something like that. I don't know, but it's supposed to be closing, I think, in the next week or so. So we'll definitely have to see what happens. But that was crazy, 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 crazy. So that's the only. So again, like when you were showing, like some cities are going up, some are down. Da, 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 da. It's I don't know what would Todd, the owner of our company, say that if it checks all the boxes and people are crazy about it, I guess people will go nuts. But I
Well,
would
or
say.
I guess in the example you gave, I think it's a big thing that has to do with price. It didn't sound like the condition because most people want move-in condition, and that doesn't sound like it was. But if
No,
it's priced well below everything else, it's going to get attention, and I guess in that situation offers.
yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. So no, I would say, yeah, I'm thinking, in my perspective, it's still a good time for buyers to be buying because the interest rates aren't horrible. I think they're like in the mid sixes, so it's like okay. Um, but there is inventory. I mean, like when you looked at all the cities that you did, there was definitely inventory in all those cities. So inventory is there. People have choices. It's just kind of like people just have to look at it. Where are they in their life? Where are they in their jobs? Where are they with their family situations? It's like it's definitely an interesting time. Kind of like Carl Medford says, it's like between the interest rates and the economy and the war and just everything that's going on. There's so many things to make it fluctuate. Fluctuate, I guess. Fluctuate. Yeah, that's my story. So I think that is it. And it's hard to believe we're over half of May. Hopefully everybody got their taxes returned done on time. Like tax season, or if you didn't get your taxes done, at least you filed an extension. So that's the deal. I think that's it, Katie. I don't have any other news, so I would say until May, everybody have a good rest of April. I think maybe it's supposed to rain next week. I don't know. But anyway, enjoy this wonderful weather. It's pretty nice actually. So that's it. Bye, everybody. May Maggie
Bye.
feel better and everything will be good. See you. Bye, everybody.